And next up is André Albuquerque, who led cross-functional teams in building products across different startup stages, including two-sided marketplaces, SaaS, and integration-based products. He helped grow Kitch as part of the founding team, from idea all the way through growth, until the acquisition by Glovo earlier this year. I guess you can imagine he gathered a set of lessons from that, and today he will tell us more about it in his talk, Product Lessons from Zero to Acquired in 18 Months. Please join me in welcoming André Albuquerque on stage.
All right. How are you feeling? Good? Yeah? Okay. So I want to tell you the story behind 3 numbers. These 3 numbers shaped the team, the execution, the culture, and the outcome of Kitch. The stories behind these 3 numbers led to Kitch being acquired by Glovo 18 months after launching. Now, we've been hearing a lot of frameworks, a lot of processes and features from amazing speakers. I've been learning a bunch today. But I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do something different. I want to share 3 moments, 3 pivotal moments that completely shaped how this team executed, how they decided. Moments that led to lessons, product lessons, that were infused in every single feature we launched, and 3 system changes that were crucial to get to that moment, to that exit. Now, by the end of this presentation, you should be able to understand what product success looks like, what led to that success, at least for us, and hopefully take a few lessons for your own context and situations. Is that okay? All good? Okay, let's dive into chapter 1. This is very Tarantino, okay? I call this, how quickly can we ship? Let me give you the backstory. So Kitch is a food tech company. We started building this in 2019 with an audacious goal to bring restaurants to the cloud. We wanted to help every single restaurant tackle delivery. But the best restaurants in town, they couldn't do it. Why? Because their kitchens were packed. The rooms, the restaurants were full. They couldn't serve clients across the city. So we thought, this is a huge problem. If we believe restaurants are going to go cloud, if delivery is going to grow a lot in the coming years, we got to solve this. So it started with one key insight: a dark kitchen. A place outside the main location that would allow to expand the capacity of production of the kitchens. And we said, we're going to build a highly tech kitchen, fully automated, full of software, to get these restaurants, the best in town, to do delivery like the best. So we started scoping what the solution looked like, given the problem space. And it was a long list. We were a small team. There's a lot of things we needed to do. Apps, backends, APIs, integrations, training, staffing people, building kitchens, retrofitting them. We needed a lot of money for this. So we started working hard. And a month went by, and nothing. 2 months went by, we weren't shipping. 3 months went by, we weren't learning. So I went to the CEO and the founding team and said, this isn't working. Something's broken here. We're not doing the MVP process that they teach at product. We got to think differently. More importantly, we got to set an unbelievable timeline. The most aggressive timeline we can think of that will just change the way we look at scope. So now I have a question for you. How much time, given the context I gave you, given kind of that scope, given kitchens, construction, retrofitting, how much time would you propose the CEO and commit to? 6 to 12 months. Raise your hand. Who thinks 6 to 12 months seems like ambitious, seems like feasible? Okay, some brave people there. All right. Okay, who's bolder? Who'd say 3 to 6 months? All right. Well, I'm keen to see your products. Okay, who are the crazy ones that would go 3 months, less than 3 months? These are the people I like. Yes. Okay. You want to know what the CEO said to me when we had this discussion?
2 weeks.
Well, no. He said 6 months. He's reasonable. He said 6 months. Do you want to know what I said? 30 days. I said, we're going to ship this in 30 days. And it's skin in the game, because I was going to build this with my team. 30 days. That was the unbelievable timeline that just changed the constraints, changed the way we thought about the solution space. And every time you got to change the system, it always starts with a core insight or a core change of the idea. For us, it was the kitchen. We were talking about 2,000 square meters of space that needed to change. That was the big bottleneck. There's always a big bottleneck. So we said, what if we actually reduce this by 10 times and do a 200 square meters, the real MVP, but in the offline world? And of course, what about the scope? So I picked up my favorite tool as a product manager, the hammer. And I started smashing that. I started taking it apart, questioning, does it really make sense given the unbelievable timeline we have in front of us? Is this still what makes sense? And it wasn't. We actually were able to remove a lot of stuff, just reduce the scope massively. Only do the one or few things we actually needed. Some on the go. We'd figure it out. And you want to know what was the end result?
Yeah.
42 days. Now, I failed. It wasn't the 30 days. It wasn't the 6 months or the 12 months. It wasn't the 3 months. It was 42 days. 42 days after February 1st, when we started coding and building and executing on what we decided that was the final solution, we were ready to launch. Now, and actually, if you think about many massive projects out there, they're actually built in much less time than you'd imagine. Why? Because the teams set unbelievable timelines that just changed the constraint, changed the way the teams thought about what needed to be executed. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is that when you're thinking about targets, you want to think about, how can I build less so I can ship faster, so I can learn sooner? So you want to pick up on your first target and ask, is this unbelievable? Is this going to really change the system? And then when you get a new target, you ask it again. And you make your team, your people, yourself uncomfortable. That's when you know you're really changing the system. Let's talk about chapter 2 now. And honestly, this is my favorite one. I call it, holy shit, now what? Now, I have a question for you. What is the one day of the week you never ship a product? Friday. Repeat after me. Never ship on Fridays. That's it. Now, what is the worst, unluckiest type of Friday? The 13th. Friday the 13th. Which is actually tomorrow. Thank you. This would be a perfect presentation if the conference was tomorrow. Friday the 13th. So you can already imagine when we decided to ship. 42 days after February 1st was Friday the 13th, March 2020. What could possibly go wrong? Exactly. So we were all in the kitchen, ready to go live. Software was ready. The test, the QA went fine. Everything was perfect. We were pumped. I mean, the team was working hard. And on that morning, our beloved Prime Minister announced that the next Monday, every single restaurant was closing because of COVID. they would have to go all in on delivery. And you might think, jackpot, we're a delivery company. Like, this is beautiful. It was exactly the opposite. Because if you think about the problem we're solving, capacity. Restaurants were full, so they needed extra kitchens to deal with delivery. And suddenly, restaurants were empty. Every single restaurant was actually now a dark kitchen. So you know what happened? Every single restaurant, every client of ours called us and said, we don't need you anymore. On launch day. We lost every single customer on that morning. After months working on this plan, after 42 days of really hard work, we lost every single customer. Holy shit, now what? Now, 99% of companies and teams, on that moment, they would say, guys, we worked really hard for months on this. We're confident about our plan. We'll find new customers. We'll fill up the kitchens, don't worry. We'll make it. But 1% would say, no, the world changed. So we need to change as well. That's what we did. We went with the hard choice. That's the hard choice. The hard choice is the 1% that says, screw what we planned, screw what we worked on, the world changed, what should we do? Now, from those 1%, 99% would say, all right, let's regroup on Monday. Everyone's tired, everyone's shocked, and let's tackle this head on. But 1% wouldn't. 1% would say, it's now. This is the hard choice. We act on this now. We start executing. And the solution was actually quite simple. Every restaurant was a dark kitchen, and we built the software. We built the product for dark kitchens, our own. That meant that every single restaurant was now a possible customer for us. And the team fearlessly reacted to this situation and said, let's do it. Let's build it. And you know what? I did something extra, which is I set an unbelievable timeline. I said, we're shipping this tomorrow, Saturday. And they loved me for that. No, they didn't. But you know what? 24 hours later, we were live. Saturday night, we were making our first revenue in our clients' restaurants in that unbelievable timeline because we chose that hard choice. We decided that moment, we would either make it or break it. And the team delivered. They worked hard, they rescoped, they redesigned, they re-implemented, and we went live. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is that as product managers, as product leaders, at any point in time, there will be situations where you need to choose between the easy choice, for us was, we're sticking to the plan. We're keeping our business model, we're keeping the product as we built. Or, let's rest over the weekend, next Monday, we'll tackle this. Or actually, if you choose this, the easy choice will take you to the hard life. For us, might have been, Kitch wouldn't have survived. Or you choose the hard choice, let's do it now, let's change, let's react right now. That often takes you to the easier life. And notice how I also brought the first lesson in, unbelievable timelines, new constraints, changes everything. And that leads us to chapter 3, which I'm calling the silver bullet. Now, in product, these are forbidden words. What? Silver bullets? They don't exist. Come on. I disagree. They actually exist. But the typical frameworks and theories, they often don't allow them to exist. Let me give you a bit of context here. So, we shifted, right? We're now software. We're now tech. We're now an app, and we're growing. We're growing fast. This is 2020. COVID's ramping up. Delivery's ramping up. We're stuck at home. We got to order food. And we built something unique. And customers are coming to us and saying, I love this. I want more of this. But every time a market's growing super fast, you know what happens? Competitors. they're coming after us. They're coming after our market. So whenever we're talking with new customers, they went from, this is amazing, to, this looks good, but how are you different from the rest? And on that moment, we had to make another hard choice. We had to say, it seems this isn't enough anymore. You got to go beyond this. So we went and doubled down on conversations. As Randy said, talk and, most importantly, listen to customers. And they said something very interesting. They said that delivery was weak on the weekend. And we looked at data, it was actually true. It's like, it just increased like 10, 20% compared to the week. Something's fishy here. So we went and kind of looked at the real world experience. Because, I mean, under data, under insights, there's a real world. And we realized that delivery apps that have this radius saying where restaurants deliver was shrinking massively during the weekend. And if you think about this, this is the same thing as if the delivery app went to your restaurant on a Friday, looked at your chairs and at your tables, and say, these look good. I'm going to take a few during the weekend. And I'll give them back on Monday. But this sucks, because it's during the weekend that you sell, that you need every single chair and table. So this is the moment we had to make a bold, huge decision of saying, we're tech, we're software, we're going to go offline. We're going to go into logistics. Because we knew what the experience was. We knew what magic looked like. It looked like the week, but during the weekend. But there was only one way to tackle this. We needed to build our own fleet, our own logistics, our own online to offline experience. And getting the team on board, getting the team ready for this, that was a hard one. That was a bold decision. That was going where no one else was going. Sometimes that kind of says something. But we said, no way. This is our path. And you guess what I also did? I set an unbelievable timeline. I said, we're not only going to build this, we're going to build this in 10 days. We're going to ship a whole new business line in 10 days. And the team, again, fearlessly said, let's do it. And probably on the back, they hated me, but that's fine. And we did an extra bold decision. Every time you launch a product, normally what do? You choose a small set of customers, some pilot program, right? We said, no. We're going to go to our biggest client, one of the biggest restaurants in Lisbon. And we're going to say, we're launching this new product for you, which is an amazing way to know if that's a great decision or a very stupid investment. We're all in. That was the heavy, largest target we could have chosen. And you want to know what happened? Yeah. We did launch in the 10 days, and boom, we 2x this restaurant sales on the launch day. We added more than 100% of new sales to this client. That is a silver bullet. That is what I call instant product market fit. 12 months later, this new business line, this product, was more than 50% of the entire company's revenue. Now, what's the lesson here? The lesson is that silver bullets, they exist, but they're often hidden under risk-reward calculations that don't make sense. They're in a place that theory says it won't work, it won't let you go there. But when an outlier result occurs, it skyrockets to a place of amazing return. And to do that, often you need to make unbelievably bold bets. You got to risk it. Now, you can't do for everything, but if you don't do for any, you're never going to see a silver bullet. So what we learned throughout these 3 moments that really reshaped, redesigned our system was that product success isn't about a single feature you decide to build or a single product you put out. Product success comes from the system you create. The way your team reacts, decides, execute. For us, the 3 system changes were unbelievable timelines. Every time we decided what to build, we set up an unbelievable timeline that created the constraints to build the right solution. The team looked at that fearlessly. They reacted fearlessly. And every time we decided on scope, on target, we were bold at deciding. We were targeting the heaviest one on the room. And you know the result of doing these 3 things over and over again? Speed. Speed is the ultimate outcome of all of this. Velocity. The way we decided, the way we iterated, the way we shipped and launched, it was faster than everyone else. We outcompeted, not because we were smarter, more funded, or had more people, but because we were outpacing the velocity at bringing new things out. And if you listen to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he says the #1 predictor of success for very young startups or products is the rate of iteration, is how fast you can iterate based on information, how fast your team can react to what's happening. And Kitch, in my opinion, is the living proof of this. Thank you very much.